for economic development. Level of foreign trade. In a developed society, they will be heavily engaged with exporting and importing. Because in a least developed or controlled situation, foreign trade has been controlled by the government. Foreign trade has been controlled by the state. And in a controlled situation, this foreign trade, exporting or importing will be regulated. The much it is regulated, the poorer the society is. Therefore, adequate level of foreign trade is a determinant of economic development. Attitude of general people is also important. In a developed society, most people will be fascinated to use modern technology. This modern technology will ensure their higher productivity, higher output, increased standard of living, and sophisticated services. Therefore, attitude of the mass people is also reflecting about the economic condition of a society, of a country, of a community. Stable but accountable government is required. For economic development, a stable long-term government is essential, but this government should be elected through free, fair, and credible system. Otherwise, monarchy or autocratic or fascist government may stay for a long time, but they will not be capable to ensure balanced economic development, because there will be a peer group, there will be a rent-seeking group, they will pick up their pocket, but most people will be deprived. Therefore, stable but accountable government is essential for economic development. Political freedom is required. In an advanced economy, developed economic condition, people will enjoy their rights, freedom of speech, freedom of act, as well as political freedom. In absence of political freedom, everything could be there, but this is a fascist society. Therefore, a fascist society may not ensure your rights, your freedom of speech, your rights to act, your rights to vote, everything. Therefore, a freedom of economic condition, freedom of political freedom is another determinant of how economically developed a country is. Indicators of economic development. How we can know this country is economically developed. First indicator is increase of gross national product. Here, this is the total production of a nation. That means it includes the expatriate worker or expatriate business person of the country with its annual production of the nation. Therefore, increased gross national product is the first determinant of economic development of a country. Then second indicator is rise in per capita income. Total national income can be subtracted, divided into total number of population. Then we'll find the per capita income. So increase of per capita income is also another indicator of economic development. Rise in per capita consumption. It is the total national consumption, that is private sector consumption as well as public sector consumption divided by total number of population can give us total per capita consumption. It is another quality indicator of economic development of a nation. Productivity per hectare of land. Productivity depends upon several factors: variable fertility of the land, rainfall or weather, seasonal, quality of seeds, quality of fertilizer, quality of pesticides, and proper use of all these ingredients. So in an economically developed society, productivity of per hectare of land will be much higher than the least developed countries. Industrial development. It is another very important indicator. Then most of the least developed or underdeveloped countries are agriculture dependent. While these countries' economic conditions started to grow, they started to manufacture industrial product by processing agricultural product. Afterwards, they may switch to service sector. They may transform into knowledge economy. Therefore, this level of industrial development is one of the very important indicator of economic development. Finally, physical quality of life index. It is a very important indicator of economic development. This particular index beholds three different aspects. Number one is life expectancy during birth. Average lifespan. The life expectancy is the average lifespan of the general mass people, citizen of a country. So this is called life expectancy, as well as infant mortality rate. If it is near about zero, then we can say infant mortality rate is lower. And literacy rate, how many people or what percentage of people are literate in that particular country. So life expectancy, infant mortality, life expectancy should be higher, infant mortality rate should be lower, and literacy rate should be higher. So this combination reflects the physical quality of life index. Next one is human development index. This index also reflects three issues. Number one is life expectancy. Second one is education. Third one is GDP, gross domestic product. That is total production of a country inside its boundary for a particular period of time, for a particular year. That is GDP. So GDP, education rate, and life expectancy, three indicators should be higher to maintain a higher human development index. So human development index is another very important indicator of economic development. Qualitative entrepreneurship, that means successful entrepreneur. The country is more economically developed where more successful entrepreneur, industrialists are born. That means industrialists are not by birth nature. It is the society, it is the community, it is the environment who creates successful entrepreneurs. Therefore, much higher number of successful entrepreneurs reflects the country is very economically developed. And structural transformation is required, is another indicator of economic development. That means structural transformation means transformation of sectors from agriculture to industry, from industry to service, service to knowledge economy. Structural transformation means they have good quality of infrastructure, good well-equipped port facilities, roads and highways, bridges, and other. So all, and finally, the indicator is capital formation, where in a economic developed society, capital formation is easier. They will have a very functional capital market where capital can be raised. They will use their national income, national savings to raise capital for any sort of investment. These 9 indicators determine how economically developed a society is. Now come to the point, what is economic growth? Economic growth is an increase of the production of an economic goods or services compared from one period to another one. That means economic growth is the increase of manufacturing goods as well as providing services. The value of goods, value of services will be increasing from its previous period. That is called economic growth. Economic growth is a quantitative figure. It determines with gross national product, that means total national output in a year, or gross domestic product, that means the total production of a country inside its boundary in a particular year. So these are 2 indicators to determine economic growth. Ways of measuring economic growth. Economic growth could be measured with 3 indicators. These are income approach. That means if per capita income is raised, then we can say economy is rising, growing. If total output, I mean GDP or GNP is increased, then we can say the economy is growing. If total amount of expenditure, that is private sector expenditure as well as public sector expenditure is increasing, then the economy is growing. So national income, national output, and national expenditure, three indicators